If you want to become an intelligent investor, then you've landed just at the right channel. With this, let's start the video.
When you analyze any company, you can have some kind of a viewpoint that any company can be a structural growth story, but the reality is very different. There was this news article written by some good research house in India. Forgetting the name, they said less than 1% of small cap companies transition to become mid caps or large caps.
Right.
So that chances of success is just 1%. If you are aiming to hold a small cap stock for 10 years, thinking that will become a large cap, probability wise, it is just 1% probability. But if you want to say a 500 crore company, can it become a 2000 crore company in the next 3 years? There can be a lot of such cases. And it will happen and it won't even figure in the mid cap, but you will end up making a lot of good absolute returns. So for the first category of stock where you are just playing the cyclical, either the small cap or the industry, we would try to focus on companies which are listed for some time, where the balance sheet is clean, where the company has some 10 years of history of cash flows or balance sheet, whatever they committed on their balance sheets, whether they have delivered or not delivered, what kind of actions they have taken. You have everything in front of you. Based on that, you can take an informed call. You should not go beyond 5-6% in any company, because when the cycle turns, every stock makes money, right? But in this drawdown, you have to save money. You have to survive first, right? And if you over allocate to one particular company, if it goes in a lot, you will become defensive. You will not be able to play on your front foot. So have a reasonable allocation in mind. For me, it is maximum 5-6% at my cost price. I won't go beyond that for any company, because the number of companies are so much, number of opportunities are so much. I can diversify myself. Balance sheet risk you should avoid. Forensics risk you should be aware of. There is no clean company as such. Right? If you say, this company has no governance thing, hardly 5 or 6 companies in India would be in that category.
Right.
So you should know at what valuation does that forensic risk gets priced in. Once you do that, then you move on to the second category, where you are okay to hold companies for a longer time. You are okay to pay a bit more than what you would pay for the first category of stocks. But there you have to do a lot of channel checks. These could be the companies which are recently listed, or this could be the companies which were listed before, who are exiting certain segments, getting into new segments. There you need more, involved strategy. You need to meet companies, you need to interact with promoters, visit their factories, understand what is their competitive positioning after speaking to their vendors, to their competitors, to their customers, and that's how you form a view. Okay, this company is figuring out on all those parameters. On my challenge checks, it is certainly figuring better. Valuation, okay, it is a bit higher than what the other category cyclical stocks are trading at. But this company has a lot of big opportunity size, can grow meaningfully, and I can hold it for 3 to 5 years. So if you use these two frameworks for these two category of stocks, then I think a portfolio can really deliver really good returns. Now, in terms of allocation, which category of it should be how much, and it's very very custom personalized, right? A person with a growth mindset, or a person who is only for looking for growth, he will ultimately have more of category 2 kind of stocks, right? For a person like me who is looking for more of cyclical flavor, I will have more of category 1 kind of stock. So it's very, very individualistic in nature. But this segment has to have some part of your portfolio, be it 5% or 20%. It's ultimately your choice.
For you, how much is cyclical versus structural?
As of now, 80% of my portfolio is into cyclical, where I am playing either the small cap or micro cap cyclical recovery, or I'm playing the industrial recovery. And 20% is growth, because I know buying a growth company is one thing, holding to a growth company is another thing.
Right.
So you can buy best of the best companies and they'll have drawdown of maybe 40%, right? And ultimately it can be a 10x. So you can never be certain that a growth company will be a growth company after 5 years. In this age of disruption, so many news flow, it becomes really difficult to hold on to them. So my preference has always been on the category 1 of.
Interesting. Right.
A couple of examples, which comes to mind, which worked really well, in the previous cycle, 2020, 2021, small IT companies, right? First, if you remember, after June, July, right, of 2020, a lot of IT stocks started moving up. So first, large cap stocks moved up, and the work was percolating down to these smaller companies. And those smaller companies were still trading at 8, 9x. They were listed for 12, 13 years, throwing cash flow every year. And you could see from their con calls that they're getting more order visibility. But still nobody was interested to touch them, right? So it was a perfect chance to buy those IT companies, and the returns have been phenomenal. Even if you were not able to sell them at the peak, you were able to sell like say 30% lower than the peak, you would have made like 6-7x over a 2-year period. So as of now, a lot of those segments give opportunities. Innerwear companies, which were darling like 2 years back, now a couple of innerwear companies, they are even lower in terms of absolute prices than March 2020 lows, right? In terms of revenue, they have grown from that segment, from that level. In terms of balance sheet, the balance sheets have become stronger. And now a person who is playing a devil's advocate can say that pricing pressure is there, it's a textile company, this, that, and that is why you're certainly getting it cheap. And but if you go and spend time in that sector, and if you form a view that over a 2-year period or a 3-year period, pricing discipline can come to these industry, whatever EBITDA margin single digit they are making and peak were 24%, can it go to 14% kind of EBITDA? So you will find these companies trading at just 3-4x that fat. I'm not saying that this will happen or not happen.
Right.
I'm saying if you approach the portfolio and make a portfolio in this way, then somewhere something will work out, and things which will work out will take care of the returns that will lose in things which will not work out. So that's why the allocation is really important. Having 4 to 5% kind of an allocation on an average, having 30 odd companies for this particular portfolio, and holding on to them, not just selling because markets are falling, sell them because your investment thesis breaks down, right? And if you hold on to them for 2 to 3 years, you will find yourself, or you will discover that this segment of portfolios would have created more wealth than any other part of portfolio.
Right.
The volatility will also be killing.
Matlab, maybe volatility isn't a risk if you understand what you're doing,
Yes.
but volatility is definitely a risk if you don't understand your positions inside out in this space.
Correct.
So if you loved this video and you had a differentiated business insight, then do subscribe to this channel, and you can also follow our main channel of SOIC. Thank you so much for watching it.